welcome to another edition of our live Tuesday night studio show, Pittsburgh Sportsline. Thanks for watching us on Comcast 7 only in Bethel Park. And of course, thanks to all our fans all over the area on Verizon 32 from Nemacolin to Cranberry, Wexford. I appreciate all the likes and the watching the show. And then I got an announcement to make on Facebook. We just hit 6,400 again. We keep hitting that.
It was sweeter the second time.
Yeah. We hit it about a month ago, slipped down to 6,395. And I don't know what happened yesterday, but 6,400 come right up on the number. So thanks for all the Facebook likes. We appreciate it. And thanks for watching us tonight. We got some sports like we do every night. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. Chip Hayner's beside me. Smoking Jim Frazier, NFL scout. Steeler scout, model scout. I don't know what else to even put in there, but he's a scout of everything. And I'm sure he'll have some more Black history info. Can't wait to get it out of him. He holds that stuff tight to the vest. And we'll see what he has to say about those lack of white defensive backs and white receivers there. So I can't wait to hear that. I had to mention it first. We start our show off with what's on your mind, but I first wanted to put out there that our pizza sponsor and steak hoagie sponsor, Olive Oil's Pizzeria at Hillcrest Shopping Center, 412-831-1900. Give them a call. They're waiting for you. They'll make up your pizza just how you want it. They got specials. Come in and grab an extra large pizza with one topping for $9.99. How can you beat that, Smoking Jim Frazier? You can take that for the ride home to God's country. That's 412-831-1900. Then I got a new friend now in Bethel Park. I was at this filming session that Dave Cable and Andy Amrine were doing. It's at the Schoolhouse Art and History Center, which is a designated historic landmark, and it's by the Bethel Park Historical Society. I met Bill Haberner. He was there. He's the director. He's getting some money there. They're doing all kind of great things. They rent out the space to artists. They have schools come in. They have a trolley right outside. Chip, if you've ever seen on South Park Road where the trolley is, that's where this is located. The Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, right on Park Avenue in the corner of South Park Road. So check it out. And you can check out their site, go online, donate even $1. They're trying to get money so they need 107 windows. And they're remodeling and doing it. They have a basement. It was just unbelievable. They had 4 coal furnaces in the basement. Yeah. Then this building was built in 1905, then they expanded it in 1917. So it's a special time, 100 years. How about in the basement, they have water coming from the gutters into like a pond in the basement, and it was air conditioning. It has a fan system,
that's so cool.
And they air conditioned the building back in 1917.
That's so cool.
Saw a lot of things there, had a great day. All right, enough of that. We got the promos out there. What's on your mind, Smoking Jim Frazier?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
it's coming at you.
You got to see Levine. Feel like Amendola.
You don't look like him.
Congratulations to the New England Patriots and to LeGarrette Blount for getting his second
ring.
Second Super Bowl ring.
And congratulations to you for hitting on New England.
Man, I tell you what, I thought I was done for. I needed.
How did you feel when it was 21-3 at halftime? I have to interrupt your session.
When it was 20, I thought the game was over. If there would have been a good movie on, I probably would have switched away. I don't know why I kept watching.
What did you think at 28-3?
28.
With 2.5 minutes left in the third quarter.
I really thought it was over. The game was over. But the one thing I do with football,
you don't give up,
is I give up on them because I'm not playing. But I just look to see who's still playing hard when the game's out of reach. And I thought the game was out of reach, so I was looking at New England to see who was still playing hard. That's how.
Well, Brady never stopped throwing those short passes.
No, he didn't.
Look, he got over 400 yards.
And before the end of the show, remind me to let you know, and I'll tell the world the reason why Tom Brady's as good as he is. So that's
Why
coming
waste
up.
any time?
Well, it's a little teaser.
Little teaser, you know.
Yeah, I don't want to step on anybody's
We were having
no,
this
we're good.
discussion off air. We're
Yeah.
gonna continue it on air.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I've got my 2 cents
Okay.
for what it's worth.
Yeah.
I like the teaser. Now,
it-
what's
it-
truly on your mind?
What's on my mind is I want to talk about championship quarterbacks.
Is Brady a championship quarterback?
He is definitely a championship quarterback, and everybody keeps saying that Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time, greatest player of all time. I think he's great. I would not rate him as the greatest,
We're starting to get hints of what you're going to talk about later.
but
That teaser's going out.
no, I'm just strictly talking about why he's as successful as he is. But don't forget the kid out of Northwestern, 4th-round draft choice, Otto Graham, with 7 championship trophies.
I almost forgot about him.
How about the 17th round draft choice out of Alabama, Bart Starr, with 5?
And he won 5
championship.
in 7 years.
You're right. And
I
Tom?
listened to.
Tom Brady.
I listened to the broadcast.
Oh, I knew that about that because the Packers of the 60s won 5 championships in 7 years. Steelers of the 70s won 4 and 6. So they never equaled up to the Vince Lombardi's Packers.
Somebody.
And I was a Packer fan growing up
I
because
see the shirt.
the
Steelers-
same old
The
Steelers,
Steelers
sucked.
were the lovable losers.
No, because that curse that Art Rooney brought on him because he hired his buddies that were drinking. And, we did have a tough line and, tough players, but they sucked. SOS.
How about Tom Brady with 5 championships? How about Terry Bradshaw with 4 championships, 4-0? Another undefeated champion, Joe Montana, 4-0. But I would be remiss not to mention Peyton Manning, Dan Marino, John Elway, Brett Favre, and the Louisville 9th round draft choice with 4 championships, Johnny Unitas. And that's what's on my mind.
Wait a minute. Yeah, Brett Favre won a championship.
Johnny Unitas won 4.
Okay.
9th round
All right,
choice.
but
Louisville.
Brett Favre won 1
No, I was just mentioning. I'd be remiss not to mention those.
because Trent Dilfer won 1 as well.
I don't know if I can comment after that, but thank you, Smoking Jim. Chip, you took all the breath out of it.
I took the wind out of his sails a little bit.
Chip Painter, what's on your mind?
Well, good evening, and yes, the New England Patriots, they do deserve a round of congratulations. Quite possibly one of the greatest games played in NFL history. I would say that this championship game rivals one of the what was always referred to as the greatest game ever played, the 1958 NFL championship
Whoa.
between the Baltimore Colts
And
and the New York Giants. And the Colts ended up winning on a dive to score a touchdown. They beat the Giants 23-17, and that was the very first championship game that was televised nationally. So that was the first exposure that the United States had to NFL championship football. But you do have to tip your hat to the New England Patriots. Tom Brady, he is the greatest quarterback that any of us have ever witnessed in our lifetimes. I think that goes without saying right now. He has won 5 Super Bowl championships. I never saw Otto Graham play, Jim. So, but
As they say, I saw film on it.
that being said, probably one of the greatest games played in NFL history, arguably. It depends on your point of
Did
view.
you stay up for it?
Yes, I did.
Really?
I did stay up through the whole game. Unfortunately, I did shut the game off right after Mr. White dove across the end zone line because I didn't want to watch the confetti fall. I didn't want to watch Roger Goodell get taunted and by the Patriots players and the Patriots owners. But the one thing that I did hold true, and I made a mention of this last week, that the NFL's championship game, the crown jewel of its television contract, the ratings dropped from this year to last year. Last year's Super Bowl had a higher television rating. As a matter of fact, it's another brick in the wall in the NFL's slide from its pedestal. My prediction last week came true. I didn't predict the outcome of the game. I predicted that the ratings for the Super Bowl would fall, and I based my equation on Super Bowl over Super Bowl, not trying to base it against the NHL Stanley Cup Finals or Major League Baseball World Series or the NBA Finals. So, it was a great game. Unfortunately, not a lot of people felt compelled to watch it. So that's what's on my mind.
Well, you were right about something, Chip. There you go.
You have to. I could look for a silver lining in every dark cloud.
Wow, I'm glad you did. Well, I told everybody yesterday on What's on My Mind that I watch the game. I watch them every year. Fond memories watching it with my dad and going to some parties and stuff. But when it was 21-3, I was going like, what am I doing watching this game? Because there's nothing from New England that's going on except a little bit here, a little bit there, and the Falcons just looked lights out. And then to start the second half, I'm like, I'll check Gaga out. I was impressed with her show.
I thought she did a very nice job.
Especially when she's jumping off the top of the stadium coming down there. So, I mean, it was very impressive, her singing, her outfits, everything. I don't know who even Beyonce is compared to that. So, but she did shine. And I watched the start of the second half. Falcons don't do anything. New England doesn't do anything. Then the second time they get the ball, the Falcons score 28-3. Now I ask myself again, I'm doing a lot of talking to myself. I go, should I stay or should I shut this thing off? Well, I stuck it out towards the end. It was a great game. I give Tom Brady, Belichick, all New England, congrats on it. They earned the win. Now, the Falcons choked, one of the biggest choke jobs in the NFL that I've seen in years. Never saw a team choke like that. When Julio Jones caught that, I think, 27-yard pass where he jumped up, got his feet down, and they're in field goal range. I go, 8-point lead, kick a field goal, 11 points, that's 2 scores.
No, that would have never happened.
Yeah, to me, I go, this is no-brainer. Then I watched to see what happens.
What did they do?
Oh.
They ran 2 plays, ended up at 3rd and 32. Okay, you're on the New England Patriots 23-yard line. You run the ball 3 times, you kick a field goal, you put the game on ice. Why were they going back and trying to pass the ball?
That is the question that I want to hear Shanahan ask in his new coaching job in San Fran.
Well, he's got.
I want to hear, why did you run?
Here's the question I have. With the Falcons up 28-3, from the time that score was 28-3 until the end of the game, they rushed the ball 4 times. Now, you're protecting a 25-point lead. Logic dictates that you play ball control offense. You run the ball, throw 3-yard screen passes,
whatever.
Stay in bounds, keep the clock moving.
Maybe it was fixed. Game was fixed.
Well, like my son said, he goes, the game's fixed. He goes, there's no doubt about it. There's no way you're up that many points.
I agree with you, son.
He said that, and I go, hey, I've been saying it for years. That's why I don't bet on the games. I'm against that. There's too much big money out there, so you got to watch yourself. And I go, my brother from another mother during Black History Month, he gives a mortal lock, and he loses. This time he went New England, and he was losing. But he come back and won. Everybody's happy.
But
just,
I mean,
just an exceptional.
The Patriots had the ball for 40 minutes in that game.
That's a long time.
Well, there's only 60 minutes you can have.
That tells the story of the game right there.
It made it simple.
Julio Jones, the best receiver in football, was targeted 4 times in the entire game.
Shocking.
And Antonio Brown would have had a hissy fit. He'd have been pouting on the sidelines, going Facebook Live and every other.
Well, they're paying
him.
him.
To blame me for that.
Yes,
Gotta throw to Julio more.
They was being double teamed.
But
You
can't blame the NFL MVP quarterback.
No,
Yeah,
you got
true
true
MVP.
But how do you break up double coverage? You run the ball. You get the DB, make them play 8 in a box, and that's going to open up the field for your wide receivers. And they just didn't do it. I mean, they've got a running attack. They have an excellent running game, and they
have 2 good running backs. Coleman and Freeman.
They did not play to win. They played not to lose, and that's why they lost.
Well, a game like that will drive you to drink, and maybe that's why they hired Steve Sarkisian to be their new offensive coordinator.
Yeah, he did such a good job with Alabama against Clemson, right?
He wasn't getting along with Saban. We digress. But that's what happened with what's on my mind. We can talk about the clown shirts with Goodell that Barstool come out with, that Coach Patricia was wearing the T-shirt.
I saw that.
I mean, it's a little bit funny, but I think it crossed the line there a little bit. So, Smoking Jim likes it because Goodell, his buddy, looks good.
The best way
with
the
the red
Patriots
nose.
could rub it in the NFL's face was by winning the game. They don't need to do anything more than that. That's foolish.
Hey, and one note that I did get updates on Gronk in the parade. He caught like 6 beers.
Did he?
And they shouldn't trade him because he's still in shape. He can catch.
That's it.
He caught beers. They were tossing him beers. He's drinking them.
Unless you can get a furlough on the weekend for Aaron Hernandez, I would never trade.
I just wonder, when you're talking
Did you
about...
just say that about Aaron Hernandez?
You can't get a weekend furlough to play, so you got to continue with Gronk.
Hernandez isn't getting out of prison.
No, that's why you got.
He's a serial killer.
That's why you got to stick with.
He's
Gronk.
a serial killer.
I wonder who
Has
threw
that
that
been
pass to
proven?
Lady Gaga at the end of her halftime show. Maybe Brady snuck out and threw her.
That was a good thing. She tossed down the mic. They threw the ball at her, and
No,
it was over.
she didn't fumble.
She caught it. All right, that's it. We're going to go to our next segment. It'll be Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. We're going to go to a little break right now. We got this software, and come back. Stay tuned. Chief, get some dessert. Quit eating. Get the dessert, and we'll be back in a couple minutes. So see you then with Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. Thanks for coming back with us on Comcast 7 only in Bethel Park and Verizon 32 in Bethel Park and everywhere else. We're going to start this with Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. Hope you like that graphic. We're still trying this software out and the different features, so bear with us. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Al Levine, the Tonka Machine. Just a couple things. I'm really thinking Ovechkin and Malkin came in together. I'd like to. Maybe you can look that up on your smartphone.
You're wrong.
Am I wrong? He came in with Crosby?
Yeah.
Ovechkin? Okay. But and I didn't watch Lady Gaga halftime. I was too busy.
Well, you know why? Because of Beyonce. You were watching one of her videos.
Well, I was actually trying to build a tunnel. To get away from my house, brother, because I thought I was way down, man. I didn't know how.
Where are you going to run?
Macaroni Tony was sitting out front.
Yeah, man, I was trying to get away, man.
Yeah, now you can't get him to pick up his phone.
I was like, dang, I should have got my passport and went to Havana. But anywho,
We'll talk about that later.
My fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac actually surrounds a young guy named C.J. Goodwin, a starting cornerback, defensive back for Atlanta Falcons. And I've been saying for years that the National Football League should convert, now that they play a lot of multiple wide receivers, convert some of those wide receivers to defensive backs.
Even if they're white?
That'd be nice to get a white cornerback. I really would like to do a reality show.
Good luck to you,
because
brother.
I don't like the reverse discrimination that goes on in the National Football League.
Thanks for your support during Black History Month.
You're welcome. And one guy would convert to safety right now to Sammy Coates. Sammy Coates got the size.
Speed.
He got the speed, but he's never going to have reliable hands. So I would move him to safety. But C.J. Goodwin, who played at KLU, 6'3", 190 pounds. He was a wide receiver there, but he volunteered every summer at Mel Blount's youth home.
Wow.
So he had no NFL offers coming out of KLU, Mel Blount went to the
That's
Pittsburgh
shocking.
Steelers with his cowboy hat on, so you know he was meant business, and asked the Pittsburgh Steelers to give
He
CJ.
looked good at the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
when
he
he was
did.
talking with Goodell.
Yeah,
Took
So-
your spot.
yeah.
He looks like he could still play.
Yeah, he probably could. But his wife is actually in better shape than him. She got a personal trainer. She's ripped up, man. She's really
Could you tell us more about her?
So
Since you diverted nicely.
So
How tall is she?
Mel Blount, when she's good looking, but this is second wife.
Okay.
And Mel Blount went
Where's
to
the first one?
She got old. Second one, young. Tionda. But Mel Blount went to the Steelers. Steelers put Goodwin on their practice squad for 2 years.
That's nice they helped him.
Atlanta got a hold of him, converted him to defensive back, and he received several Pro Bowl votes this year and played a really good game in the Super Bowl. So, hey, that's the fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. Hey, maybe the best way to get into the NFL is volunteer Mel Blount's youth home.
Live long and prosper, all you Vulcans, huh?
That's it, brother.
Trapper Tom.
And congratulations to WPIL All-Star Superstar player Cam Durant, who signed today with KLU to play slot receiver.
I heard that. I
Congratulations.
heard that on the radio.
Was it on the radio
I
today?
think, yeah, they announced
Wow.
something about it. Thanks, Smoking Jim. You gave us a lot of fiction. No, I mean a lot of fact. Appreciate that. Chip, let's go to Chip's trivia time. Ended there.
I love it. Do we know what happens in 10 days? In 10 days, the
No.
players report to
Oh,
spring
spring
training.
training.
Are you
The
serious?
first game of spring training is not just right around the corner. So that got me thinking, what am I going to do for trivia this week? you know?
Ah, they made it easy.
So I wanted to have something that encompassed, my passion for baseball, and also make recognition of Black History Month. So
Wow.
what
You
I
tied it all
did was
together.
I want to go a brief history of baseball in Pittsburgh.
Wow. I like
Okay.
I don't know how it could be brief. We had a lot of history.
Well, we had a lot of history. I'm going to kind of condense it down. I didn't highlight everything, just the high points here. But stuff that I think is
take
worth
it.
mentioning.
Give it to us. Come on.
With names such as Hannes Wagner, Pye Traynor, Lloyd Wainer, Paul Wainer, Bill McKechnie, Fred Clark, Archie Vaughn, Ralph Kiner, Roberto Clemente, Mazeroski, Stargell, sound like surnames of a diverse modern Pittsburgh neighborhood. They are part of the honor roll of Hall of Famers who played for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Wow.
The franchise's proud history boasts 5 World Series titles, 9 National League pennants, countless batting titles. As a matter of fact, the only team in Major League Baseball that has more batting titles than the Pittsburgh Pirates is the Detroit Tigers. Hannes Wagner with 8 of them by himself. Countless Golden Gloves, many unique Major League Baseball records. The Pirates' history in Major League Baseball is part of baseball lore and remains secure, but the history of baseball includes more than the Pirates. It's a history of diversity that made the city of Pittsburgh a proud trendsetter well before its time. We'll start with the Negro Leagues.
All right.
The Homestead Grays and the Pittsburgh Crawfords both played in the city of Pittsburgh. The Grays came around 1912, but the team was around for over a little over a decade prior to this as an amateur team. In 1900, a group of African American ball players formed the Germantown Blue Ribbons. Do you know where Germantown is? It's in the north side, Jim, not far from Heinz Field.
I don't even know what African American is.
Okay.
Black is.
They played against top amateur teams in the area. They renamed the team the Murdoch Grays, and 2 years later, in 1912, the name was changed to the Homestead Grays.
Wow.
The 1912 name change marked the year the Grays' founding is officially recognized.
Wow.
The Grays operated independently for the following 17 years until they joined the American Negro League in 1929. In 1932, the Grays once again joined a league for only one short year. The league they joined this time was the East-West League. Not only was the Grays stay in the league very short, but so was the lifespan of the league itself, lasting only for the 1932 season. let's see. Due to the Great Depression, attendance was extremely low, and teams started to abandon their schedule. Detroit's team folded. So did the league itself in July after only 2 months of operation. After a couple more years of independence, the Grays joined the National Negro League in 1935. In a union that would last until the team's closure 13 years later with the help of manager Vic Harris. The next 13 years in the Negro National Leagues would turn the Grays into one of the most successful teams in Negro League history. Harris led the Grays to 9 league titles, 3 Negro League World Series, and more than any other team. And when the NNL disbanded in 1948, the Grays went back to operating independently. The other Negro League team in Pittsburgh was the Pittsburgh Crawfords. The Crawfords' tenure was much shorter time than that of the Grays. The team was founded in 1930 and closed in 1938.
I didn't know that.
The Crawfords were originally a semi-pro youth team sponsored by the Crawford Bathhouse and Recreation Center. And this was in the Hill District.
Bathhouse.
And 1931, the team was bought by Gus Greenlee, the owner of the famous Crawford Grill in the Hill District.
There you go.
Greenlee used his reputation to bring in some of the biggest African-American names in baseball, most notably Hall of Famers Satchel Paige, Josh Gibson, Judy Johnson, and Cool Papa Bell. Much like the Grays, the Crawfords spent their first couple of years in existence as an independent. That would change in 1933. They won the league title in 1935 and 1936. Subsequently, the team disbanded. So now we go over to the predecessor to the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pittsburgh Pirates were originally called the Pittsburgh Alleghenies.
I didn't know that.
The first professional team to call Pittsburgh home, much like the Steelers, the Pirates found themselves shuffling names around until the current one, which was settled on in 1891. The year 1890 marked the very lowest point in the franchise would ever experience, putting up a record of 23 wins and 113 losses.
Wow.
Can you imagine what would happen now if the Pirates would put up a record like that?
Sell the team.
They burn the stadium to the
Where they're
ground.
going to that.
I'm not even going to respond to that. That has
The
never been
entertainer has
topped
spoken.
by the Alleghenies or the Pirates. Once the team was back in the National League, they had to compete to reconstruct their roster because most of the players were lost and shuffling between leagues. One of the players they came across was Lou Bierbauer. And remember this name. Lou Bierbauer is the reason why the Pirates have the name
They stole
that
him.
they have. A highly touted second baseman from the Philadelphia Athletics of the American Association. The Athletics forgot to place Bierbauer on their reserves list going into the 1891 season, which meant the Alleghenies were legally allowed to pick him up. While that was done completely legal, the Athletics understandably opposed the Alleghenies move, claiming they pirated Bierbauer from them. Hence the name change. Starting in 1891, the Alleghenies changed the name to the Pirates, and the name has stuck ever since.
Ain't that something?
Yeah.
Now, 1898, the Pirates got a new owner, Barney Dreyfuss. He purchased the Pirates, half of the Pirates following the 1898 season. Dreyfuss sent half of his team to the Pirates in exchange for relatively unknown players who would never amount to much over their career. The Pirates, however, made quite the pickup, including Hall of Famers Honus Wagner and Fred Clark. He owned the team until they played in the first World Series in 1903 against the Boston Americans. The Pirates lost in 9 games. And finally, the Pirates maintaining that winning mentality, it finally paid off in 1909 when the Pirates captured their first World Series at their new ballpark, Forbes Field, over in Oakland. Just to, without getting too much into the history of back then, a number of different things happened. The Pirates won in the World Series 1925 over the Washington Senators. They reached the World Series in 1927 against arguably the greatest baseball team ever, the Murderers Row Yankees of 1927. Pirates got swept in 4 games. So Barney Dreyfuss owned the team until 1946. And he was replaced as owner by legendary musician Bing Crosby.
Really?
For a short time, Ralph Kiner was one of the new faces. He was the greatest slugger of his time. He led the National League in home runs, 7 consecutive seasons, but the Pirates only saw one winning season. Crosby wasn't able to find success, and the team was sold to John Galbraith in 1950. Galbraith made what turned out to be one of the best hires in the history of the franchise when he brought in Branch Rickey as general manager. Branch Rickey was not a popular man in Pittsburgh at his arrival. He decimated the entire roster, getting rid of veterans such as Hall of Famer Ralph Kiner and rebuilding the team from the ground up with nothing but youth. Risky gamble paid off with youthful talents. Some of these players included Vernon Law, Bob Friend, Dick Groat, Bill Mazeroski, Roberto Clemente. And so the legend of the Pirates was born then. The Pirates continued to thrive, winning the 1960 World Series. And just on a different note, on October 13th of each year, starting in 1985, a taped broadcast of the final game of the 1960 World Series is played with fans as they gather at the outfield wall in Oakland. This is the location where Forbes Field stood, which is now part of the University of Pittsburgh campus. It originally started with just one man, but has since grown to a larger group of fans. And they start the game at the exact time it started, October 13th, 1960, so that when Mazeroski hits his home run, it's at the exact time that he hit it.
That's nice.
So the Pirates continued much success through the 70s, through the 60s, and then the arrival of Willie Stargell that would soon change. The Pirates won their 4th World Series in 71. Clemente's shining moment in his career, the crown jewel in his helmet, were his MVP World Series. The only special thing the Pirates accomplished that September. In September of that same year, they put on the field the first all-black lineup ever. Those moments, however, were short-lived.
Thanks for your comment for Black History Month.
See, I told you I had a little bit.
I was looking for it. You got it.
And well, there's that, and there was the Negro Leagues too.
Well,
so,
I know, but that was a gift.
But the Pirates had a great deal of success in the 70s, and Alan and I remember that time very well. They won a lot of National League titles. They won 2 World Series. Later in the decade, 1979, Willie Stargell had the crown jewel of his career by winning the World Series, winning the National League MVP award, sharing that with Keith Hernandez, and winning the MVP award in the 1979 World Series. After that, the Pirates hit some dark days in the 1980s. There was the drug trials. The Pirates almost lost the team. Dave Parker, Dale Barra, and a slew of other players were responsible until 1985 when Jim Leland took over control of the team as manager. He brought in 3 young outfielders, Bobby Bonilla, Andy Van Slyke, and a certain Barry Lamar Bonds, who helped the Pirates win 3 consecutive divisions before they went through 20 more years of futility before the Pirates were reborn and rejuvenated. And I am looking forward to 2017. It's going to be a great year, Pirate fans. Enjoy the ride.
We'll talk some Buccos a little later.
That's my trivia for this week. A brief, condensed history of baseball and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, very good. Thanks.
I never knew that it was Pittsburgh Alleghenies.
Well, now that you're getting into baseball, you're learning these things.
Jim, stick with me.
Babe Ruth still watches over the Pirate fans. We all know that.
And you know what? And just because I know how much you love it, I saved this for you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, on location, we had a great time, great guest last night at Hollywood Lanes between 7:30 and 8:30. Smoking Jim gave a great opening, What's on Your Mind, which is sponsored by Skeets Lewandowski of Skeets Service Station. And we recovered after that since he entertained us. And had some great guests. Dave Cable suggested a couple guys. One has his Iron City Elite Strength and Conditioning, Jeremy Smith. And the guy that works with him is Dan, I can't pronounce his last name, Nokowitz, I think. They were 2 good guests there, so we appreciate that. And our other guests, that'll be up tomorrow. You have to check it out. We had nice guests, nice crowd. We'll be on location the 3rd Monday at Fairway Grill. Check us out right here on Hamilton Road on the 3rd Monday. That's 2 weeks from Monday, so we'll see you there. And that's what I have on location. I got a couple promos to bring up. First one is the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. There's Joey before DIPG and after DIPG. Died before his 9th birthday. It's already been 2 years. If you can donate to this Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, anything, $1, and they'll be doing different events this year, so check it out. And we got this Bethel Park Community Foundation. They have money. They'll give so many small grants to people that have kids in the area that need some money there to get their group going a little further with helping the kids in the community. Check it out. It's bpcf.org. You can get an application there and apply for it. Just contact Dan Duff. He's the president of the group. I'm one of the trustees on it, so we appreciate it, and we're trying to help people out in the community here, and we have money, no doubt about it. That's it. Now we're going to go to a commercial break, and we'll come back and talk more sports, from Buccos to Penguins. By the way, the Penguins are playing. I didn't get an update from Devin or anything. I don't know what the score is.
All right, I'll get you going.
We'll give you an update, folks. See you in a couple minutes, and we'll be back. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the commercial break with the commercials with Dave Cable and all that stuff there. Nothing to report on the Penguins. There's no score. First period, so we'll continue with that. They've won 3 in a row now, so they're back in the winning ways. Flurries in the cage, so hopefully we'll get some good news later on, or I'll go home and I'll watch the game. So I know Smoking Jim will be tuning into some hockey.
Can't wait.
You can't wait to get the puck out of there. So we'll go with that. You got us talking some baseball. There was a great announcement this week by Clint Hurdle. I'll segue right into Chip Hayner, who's bought in on this and is happy to hear it. Tell us what we heard.
Well, what the Pirates did, and this was a move that, watching the type of season that Andrew McCutchen had last year, and the woes that the Pirates defense had in the outfield last year, changes needed to be made. And so I tip my hat to Neil Huntington, I tip my hat to Clint Hurdle, and more importantly, I tip my hat to Gregory Polanco, Starling Marte, and Andrew McCutchen, because they sat down with the general manager and Clint Hurdle and his staff, and they went over what were the strong parts, what were the weak parts of the defense last year, and the players bought in, and the managers decided to make a change, and Andrew McCutchen will now be playing right field this season. Gregory Polanco will move from right field to left field, and the 2-time Gold Glove winning left fielder, Starling Marte, will move to center field. And this makes a lot of sense in a lot of different ways, because if you look at the dynamics of PNC Park, PNC Park has a huge center field and a huge left field. Yeah. And what we're doing now is we're moving our youngest and fastest outfielders with the strongest arms into the biggest part of the ballpark. And, moving Andrew McCutchen over to right field is not really a demotion, if you go to think about it, because I can think of a couple of other players that made a pretty good name for themselves playing right field in Pittsburgh. One of them would be Roberto Clemente. The other one would be Dave Parker.
The $1 million ball player.
And just to throw in another Hall of Famer, Hammer and Hank Aaron patrolled right field for a lot of years. So there's nothing that's embarrassing about playing right field. But what I like what the Pirates did about this is before we get to spring training, they let the cat out of the bag. Now the reporters have no story to create any division amongst the teams. The team can focus its energy when it gets to spring training on developing a team that's capable of contending in 2017. They're not going to be wasting time answering foolish questions from reporters. They're going to be able to focus on the tasks at hand. Brilliant move by Clint Hurdle, Neil Huntington, Clint's staff, and more importantly, the players decided that this was what was in their best interests and the team's best interest. It's a win-win all the way around.
How many games did Pirates win last year?
78?
Not enough.
78. This move might help them get to 80.
Okay.
They're not going to have a winning season.
But,
what happens when they get that good pitching?
The move did nothing. It's nothing but create a story for the Pirates.
Okay. And he's just chock full of facts to back up that presumption. So, we'll move on to other things because, one of the reasons why I love baseball as much as I do is that baseball starts in the spring. In the spring, everything is born anew again, and everything is possible. And, every year, even for the 20 years that the Pirates were losing, we went to spring training with the hope that this year was going to be the year. Well, you know what? Last year wasn't. Okay, maybe expectations were a little bit too high.
By some of us.
After winning 99 games the previous season, okay, and the Pirates fell short. But you know what? They're professionals. They've got a great core of solid Major League ball players. The big question mark is, what kind of a pitching staff is Ray Searage going to bring north? There's going to be a lot of young arms. I think there's a lot of reasons to be excited. We've got some young arms in the minor leagues looking to come up. Nick Kingham is somebody that's coming back from Tommy John surgery, who was one of the top-rated pitching prospects prior to his injury. Wow. Jamison Taillon, excited about what he's bringing back. Tyler Glasnow is, he's ready to make the next
step. Smoking Jim's man, Garrett Cole.
Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole will be the ace of the staff, and I will make a prediction for Jim's sake that Garrett Cole will be on the bump on opening day.
Well, Pirates got the best outfield in all of baseball. Let's shuffle that up.
Well, obviously they didn't, Jim, because maybe you forgot about the statistics. And basically the Steelers potentially had the best outfield in baseball last year. However, they didn't play like it. So, yes, it does make sense to change it up.
But all the things that the Pirates need to improve on for that 78.
Okay, number, tell me what they are.
You know what they are.
Well, I'm asking you to tell me.
I'm just
because
saying,
you seem to be
the strongest part of the Pirates team is their outfield.
And guess what?
They're great outfielders, and now you
guess what they're doing?
No
the same players are going to be playing the outfield. It's not like we're asking them to play on the planet Mars.
Why don't we put Brady in the slot?
You're mixing apples.
But anyhow, the Pirates. I'm excited for the season. After this Saturday, my season ticket package is paid for the year. I'll be down at PNC Park, loving life and watching my Buccos play.
There you go. And I wish them well. Hopefully they get healthy pitchers and they go forward with it. We don't have what Smoking Jim predicted last year, that they don't have any starting pitchers.
They ain't going to be able to find McCutcheon in the right field.
Yeah, and I guess Jim would rather have them bring back Pedro Alvarez to play first base.
There's worse things you could do.
Not much. And just so you know, he's still not signed. He's an unrestricted free agent. He's still not signed.
That's shocking.
Nobody likes
your MVP.
Nobody likes the Hispanics anymore.
It has nothing to do with that. The guy bats .230, only hits 25 home runs, and can't play a lick in the field.
Reminds me of the old Dave Kingman, which I know you're familiar with. He hit 40 home runs and bat .210.
I like that, though.
You missed that. No. You missed that.
Yeah, Jim, you said the easiest position to play in the field is first place.
Name an easier one.
Okay, and he couldn't do that.
But it's still the easiest.
But he still couldn't play it.
We don't mean to pick on you, Smoking.
No, we don't mean to pick on you. But
these are just opinions based in facts.
But hey, you know what? We got a little tease before, and before we get down and we're fighting the clock, Jim, I'd like you to share with our viewers this evening why Tom Brady is a championship caliber quarterback.
Everybody hold your seat. This is going to be.
Is this the time?
This is going to be prophetic. The reason Tom Brady is as great as he is, the reason Tom Brady can win no matter who the receivers are, he can win with a third-string running back, James White, and have him break a Super Bowl record with 14 receptions, is because Tom Brady, brace yourself, takes what the defense gives him. Takes what the defense gives him. Everybody can learn from Tom Brady.
And I'll tell you, to back up what Jim's saying, you know, I after seeing multiple interviews with Tom Brady and the players that play with him and players that no longer play with New England to play with him, Tom Brady, at 39 years old, arguably the best quarterback that we have seen in our lifetime. Okay, you like that a little better? Cause
I've seen better. Yeah.
Well, okay, but let that be said. There is not a quarterback in the game of football today that prepares better than he does. He knows every formation the defense is going to throw up against him, and he knows where the open spots in every defensive scheme is going to be, and he puts players in those positions, and then he gets them the ball. If you've noticed, other than Gronkowski, how many All-Pro wide receivers has he had on that team in the last 17 years?
We had 17 years of Louis Lips. Great receivers, outstanding receivers for years. Louis will never make the Hall of Fame, but he's outstanding. They're all the receivers he had was good.
None of them will make the Hall of Fame, but you know what? They won a lot of football games, and Brady is just, he works harder than anybody else on the team. And I always hear about how Antonio Brown works harder than anybody,
He does.
and that gives him the right to act like a clown most of the time. And that isn't the case, with Tom Brady. He works harder than anybody else, and then he goes over and he helps the people that are new to the team. And he looks to make each and every player around him better instead of, look how great I am, me, because we're in this me first generation. But,
Tom Brady didn't have to do that because for 2 weeks in the Super Bowl, all we heard about was Brady and Belichick. I didn't know there was anybody else on the team. So
that's a good point.
The media does all the me for him.
Well, Brady does his talking
On
in
the
between
field.
the lines.
I agree.
Okay, and from the beginning of the game to that final gun, and you watch what happened on Sunday afternoon. He never gave up on himself. He never gave up on his team.
That's true.
He just kept. He knew that we keep playing. We keep playing our game.
Good things will happen.
Good things will happen. And he wore out the Falcons' defense. The Falcons' defense was dog-tired. They couldn't have stopped a high school team in overtime. and when they got to overtime, and you saw how quickly they said, "We want the ball." They knew well because the Falcons defenders, their tongues were hanging out of their mouth. They were sucking wind, and what they do, they moved the ball straight down the field. Falcons really didn't even have a chance. That leads me to another thing.
Overtime.
What do you think the NFL should do about overtime? Now, do you think that the Falcons should have had a chance to march down the field and score a touchdown to tie the game? And if they didn't, then the Patriots win? Or was the fact that they scored a touchdown first, was that fair to the Falcons?
Play a fifth quarter. Play another quarter. I don't care if you have to play 10
What
quarters.
about play like college ball?
I don't.
Sudden death overtime?
25-yard line?
Play another 15 minutes.
Play another 15 minutes, and however that turns out.
And if it's still tied, play
another 15 minutes. Okay, I can live with that. Play, if they end up playing 6 15-minute quarters, to find an eventual champion.
Because I'm okay with a tie. Coach Champs was okay with me at the end of the game.
Oh, when you played, you'd never want to live with that.
Well,
you're not even playing now.
I wouldn't want to live with that, but I think they could live with it a little bit better than the
They're all like you and worse.
You don't think Atlanta would rather be co-champs right now?
What would they do? Would they cut that Lombardi trophy right down the middle and then just stick it against the wall?
They'd get 2 Lombardis.
Both of them get kissing.
They'd get 2 Lombardis.
Yeah, you got.
No, I do know what I do think. I do think that the current.
I think they should give a team another chance.
I do think the current overtime rules need to be adjusted. I like Jim's idea of a 15-minute quarter, and if the game is still tied after 15 minutes, play another 15-minute quarter. Give each team one timeout in that 15-minute quarter, so they don't carry over from quarter to quarter. So it's an even playing field, and that way, I mean, you think about what the Falcons did, and I mean they did play their hearts out. They just got they got beat by a better team.
They just choked.
I look at it more that the Patriots won that game than the Falcons gave it away, because the way they methodically moved that ball down the field, I mean, the Patriots earned every bit of it. They really did. I mean,
Patriots couldn't stop the Falcons. They stopped themselves.
Well, here's the one thing that you need to understand. The Falcons were the best offensive team in the NFL this year.
540 points.
They averaged 34 points a game, okay? Their offense actually really only scored 14 points in that game because there was a pick six that was returned, and then LeGarrette Blount fumbled and gave them an extremely short field to score on.
They had to go 70 yards.
No, they did not.
Yeah, they did. Look
No,
it
they
up.
didn't.
He fumbled on the 30 or the other 30. They went 70.
It was it was the
it's all
Falcons'
water under
defense
the
that gave
bridge.
it. But to be honest with you, you know, all they needed to do in the fourth quarter was kick a field goal to win the Super Bowl.
That's true.
And why they decided to
Well, all they needed was to run the
they,
ball.
They drop back, and he gets sacked for 15 yards, and then they fall back to drop back to pass again, and then there's a holding penalty. So now it's 3rd and 32. You're no longer in field goal range.
They said there's never been a time, I don't know if it's this year or NFL history, where a team had first and 10 from the 22 and had to punt.
Yep.
Oh, it's got to be a record.
Well, in the
Definitely.
championship game, it sure was. So.
But other teams have scored the
But
most
no,
points
you
in
know,
the
the-
league
the
and not
point-
won the game, the Super Bowl.
The point about Brady
happened before.
is that the guy does not. I mean, he doesn't sweat. I mean, he just
Answer your sweetie, and
he's
be
cool
done.
under fire, and you know, I think he's the best prepared quarterback. I mean, you
I
look
don't
at
know how he does it at 39. He's healthier now, like you said, than when he was 25.
you know he even mentioned this on Monday morning. I was listening to an interview with him on ESPN,
Trying to sell
and he
a book.
said, you know, that as a professional athlete, my body is my asset. And he goes, and I learned how to take care of my body. He says, my body feels better now at 39 than I did when I was
He sounds
25.
like James Harrison.
He said that
And he's spending $1,000 a day.
Wow.
He said that he knows how to take care of his body and recover after a game so that he can practice on Wednesday. Because he said the only way you can get better during the week to be able to play on Sunday is if you practice Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Maybe Tomlin should pay heed to this because he gives all of his veterans off a day of practice.
Wednesday.
And look how unprepared they were in New England.
Good point.
Yeah, well, we can't go back on that. There were many coaching flaws in the championship game.
At
But
the,
that
end, of
was
the,
say
at
the
the end of
least.
the day, it's the player's responsibility to come out and be prepared to play on the field.
But I think you meant Coach Tomlin. You said Tomlin.
No.
That's
You know,
a
he's
minor.
not my coach. I don't play for the Steelers.
That's a minor
I
point.
talk about them.
I bleed black and gold. I enjoy the
I
sports.
love
You're
my
wearing
Steelers.
green and gold. You're Packers.
Yeah.
You used to bleed that when you was a kid.
No,
I
just
did
like
too.
them.
You know, when the Packers.
You was a Packer too?
Yeah, I like the
remember,
Packers.
Remember a game, the Ice Bowl, when the
I
Packers
heard of
played
it.
the Cowboys?
I've seen it on
Yeah,
film.
I was a Packers fan. I hated the Cowboys
You
from the
suck.
time.
You hated the
I
Cowboys?
hated the Cowboys from the
You
time I
always
was
like
over
Danny
pro.
Dawn, I thought.
No, I never liked
Roger
the Cowboys.
Staubach? You
Never.
hated Roger Staubach.
I did too.
I didn't have feelings for him.
Roger
I
the
didn't
Dodger.
He was a serviceman.
I
That's
respected
okay.
that. I
That's
respected
okay.
that.
I did not like
Just
Tom
like
Landry.
thank you to all the servicemen and
Peck
women that are
Schramm,
serving.
none of them. None of them. Gil Brandt, none of them. Didn't like any of them.
Now you got the truth out of them. It took a while. We've been on
My two
5
favorite
years.
teams are the Steelers and whoever's playing the Cowboys.
He didn't know. Chip, I've known that. Thanks for repeating that. Smoking Jim, you want to talk about boxing for 30 seconds?
Man, it was great. Some
Saturday
great fights.
afternoon,
Saturday
Bronson House.
afternoon, Washington, PA. Sold all the tickets. We were there. I couldn't have enjoyed it more. Hard-hitting Woods out there, huh?
Wicked Woods.
Wicked Woods.
Yeah, we saw some great boxing. Alexa Muselin and Colleen Davis, fight of the night.
That's scary.
Alexa was
My
the
two
fighter of
favorite-
the night,
Two favorite
and
fighters.
she didn't have one mark on her face.
Yeah.
And you got a couple nice sweetie photos with her.
Yes.
And you met her dad,
Yeah.
Tim
Yeah.
Davis.
Yeah.
So we had a good time. Thanks again, Skeets, for that, and all the people out there. We had a lot of fun, and I want to tell everybody, stay Joey strong.